The defense attorney called me incompetent during the middle of my client's pretrial deposition. Do I sit there and take it and not say a word? Or do I take the bait and respond? You want to know the answer? Come join me on this walk on this deserted island here in St. Martin as I share with you exactly what to do. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. Okay, my client was being questioned in a pretrial deposition, which is a question and answer session that takes place in our office, in our conference room. There's no judge there and there's no jury there, but there is a court stenographer there. We call them court reporters for the purposes of recording all the questions that are being asked and all the answers that are given. In addition, if there are objections or things that the attorneys say, the court reporter will record and take down all that information as well. So now, during the course of questioning, the defense attorney asked my client, the injured patient, questions about what was going on. And I felt that a number of these questions were totally inappropriate. We call them palpably improper, which means they should not be answered because they are so off the wall. I'll give you a quick example. If the defense attorney turns around and asks my client, "Hey, Mrs. Jones, how often does your husband beat you each night?" What? What are you talking about? That's ridiculous. That's got nothing to do with any allegations here. And by the way, you don't have a good faith basis to ask such a stupid question. So now, what happens? During the course of this deposition, I objected multiple times to these improper questions, which I have a legal obligation and a legal right to do. The defense attorney was getting very frustrated with me because now I was telling him, listen, that's a totally improper question. I'm directing the witness not to answer the question and simply rephrase it so you'll get the information you want. And this attorney was being stubborn. He was being obnoxious. Now he said, listen, I don't have to rephrase my question. That's my question. I want that question answered. And now there was argument between the two of us to the point where the defense attorney turned around and says, "Oginski, you're incompetent. You don't know what the hell you're doing. How stupid are you?" And he actually said that in front of my client. And now the court reporter is recording word for word exactly what he's saying. First of all, is that appropriate? The answer is no. That is totally inappropriate. Why? Because in New York, the courts have developed specific rules that say attorneys have to be professional, they have to be cordial, we don't have to like each other, we don't have to agree on the issues in the case, but we have to be professional. And now yelling and screaming at your opponent, yelling and screaming at a witness is totally inappropriate. Not just that, but insulting your adversary, that is also totally inappropriate. So now, here's the question I raised at the beginning of this video. Do I take the bait because he's now starting to insult me personally and professionally? The answer is, I shouldn't. I should not take the bait. But sometimes it's so hard to stop yourself that you now go ahead and start fighting back verbally, and now you give it back to him. You give him a couple of zingers, and that prompts him to be like, whoa, wait a second, what did you just say? And now you have that give and take. It's like, you just insulted me, well, take this and shove it. You know why? Because you have to stand up for your client and you have to stand up for yourself. If you don't say anything and now simply allow this attorney to verbally abuse you, now not only does it change the dynamics of what's going on during this course of the deposition, now it has a psychological effect as well. Because now this attorney will believe that he has a psychologically superior position over us, and now he'll believe that his position from a legal standpoint in this case also is superior to ours. So it's kind of important to turn around and push back and let this attorney know you're not going to take this nonsense lying down and you're not just going to sit there silently, but you're going to give it back to him. Here's something attorneys have to be really weary of. You can't get involved in a full-fledged fight. And certainly you don't want this to escalate to something physical because that would be not only ridiculous, but also potentially criminal. And you don't want to go there. There's no reason for it. Okay, so the attorney insults me, big deal. The problem is he's doing it in front of my client and he's doing it on the record, which means now that I could go ahead and ask the judge who's supervising this case to sanction this attorney, to penalize this attorney monetarily for what he did during the course of this deposition. So when I ask the question, do you simply accept what the attorney has to say when he starts insulting me? The answer is you got to bite your tongue, but at the same time you've got to stand up for yourself and let this attorney know you won't be pushed around. And you give it back to him a little bit. Quickly, now move on, counselor. Let's go. And now the fight is over and you continue on with the questioning. So why do I share this information with you? I share this with you because this does come up from time to time. And in the past, when it has happened, it has made things very uncomfortable for everybody in the deposition room. The client, the other attorneys, the court stenographer. And the courts actually went ahead and developed this rule that said, hey guys, you've got to be professional and you have to separate out personal insults, personal objections with what's going on in this case. You get frustrated, deal with it. You know, I realize you likely have questions or concerns about your own matter. Well, if your matter did happen in New York and you have not yet started a lawsuit and still have questions that need to be answered, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. You know, I answer questions like yours every single day and I'd love to talk to you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at Oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a fantastic day.